What is up, guys? It's Andrew with mywatchaddiction.com, and today we're going to take a look at another Kickstarter watch. The watch we're going to take a look at today is a Blenheim London Navigator luminous 300-foot automatic watch. As you can probably tell, I'm not all that excited about it, and as you watch this video, you'll see why. Before we get started though, guys, and tear into this shitty little box, let's take a look and see what's on my wrist. The watch of the day is that Avium Apex GT that you guys saw me review a few weeks back. So the very first thing that has annoyed me about this Blenheim London Navigator Luminous is how I received it. So I received this Kickstarter watch first and foremost 2 months late, which I get it. Things happen with Kickstarter, but then it just shows up out of the blue with this box inside of a envelope, not a padded envelope, just an envelope. So I get this box, just fine, whatever, until you actually start looking at this box. And this isn't really like a box. It's a bunch of cardboard that's just folded together into a box. And there is the Blenheim, however you pronounce it, London box, paper slip cover, however you want to call it. Inner box, right off the bat, this kind of looks like leather, but guess what, guys? It's not. It's just folded paper over top of cardboard. And we open it up, and there's the watch. Now, first things first, I'm going to show you a few things. At face value, at first glance, you could look at this box and you could say, ah, that's kind of cool. It's got the carbon fiber effect on the inside. Kind of a neat looking box until you start looking closer. And I'm going to take this watch out because I'm just going to take it out and show you the second thing that annoyed the shit out of me. So, really cool watch holder, right? Carbon fiber, looks great until you see that. It's literally just a piece of carbon fiber paper glued to a piece of styrofoam. And if you look closely at this box, this is a cardboard box, literally with this carbon fiber paper type material glued to the inside of it. So value engineering at its finest right there. Let's find the cheapest possible way we can send our watches, and that is what was done. So let's take a look at this watch. This is the Blenheim London Navigator. Now, looking at this watch at first, looks pretty sharp, right? Stainless steel case, looks like a ceramic domed bezel, domed sapphire glass, pretty sharp looking. Whole 9 yards. Dial is pretty sharp looking with those applied indices. We do have an open case display back, and that, by the way, is a Miyota 8215 movement in this watch. Milanese bracelet with the cheap double fold over clasp. One thing I'll point out about this clasp, and we'll see if we can zoom it in here for you. One thing I will point out about this clasp is Blenheim London is printed on that clasp, but I can assure you guys it's not really just the way I'm holding it. The Blenheim stamp on the bottom of that clasp is crooked. So the attention to detail in this watch is not there at all. Take a little bit of closer look at the dial here. One of the things that you'll notice The white isn't even all the way filled in on the indices. This is just a real cheap, in my estimation, from the feel of it and the look of it, real cheap, thrown together, build as cheaply as possible watch. Incidentally, this watch did come from Hong Kong. Blenheim London is based in the UK, but I believe this one was sent directly from their contract manufacturer, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I mean, companies do it every day. But I do believe that the watch manufacturer that they used to make this watch just had no sense of detail when it comes to this. It still does have the bluing on it, but there is the Blenheim London logo right there on the crown. The crown itself is unidirectional. Click is all right. Seems pretty solid. I have been reading a lot of comments about this crown, though, that guys are having problems with it being loose, with it not sitting right. I mean, there is a little wobble in that crown. I'm sorry, not crown, in that bezel itself. I kind of like the bezel design. I mean, I'm a fan of that domed ceramic bezel. I don't know if this is ceramic or not. I don't know what it is, but that's what it looks like. I had really, 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 really high hopes for this watch because I think that's a classic dress watch look to it. I do like the dial design, but I'm just not happy with the overall execution of this watch. So in one of the comments, somebody asked me, and I forget who it was, so I apologize, asked me to actually take a look at the operation of these watches when I have them up close. So just real quick, this movement does have hand winding. It is not hackable movement though. And so that's all the way out in the second position. And then the first position can change the date on this Miyota 8215 movement. All right, so if we jump over to the Kickstarter campaign page for this Blenheim London Navigator luminous 300-foot automatic watch, pay special attention to that word luminous right there because that's going to be important in the future. So if we go through this real quick, 68 backers total backed this project. You can see I was a backer there. They sent out the surveys post completion of this campaign. Survey was sent out in October 31st of 2017. This watch was promised to be delivered, or estimated delivery I should say, is March of 2018. I actually received this watch at the end of the first week of May for 2018. Now, I recognize full well that with Kickstarter campaigns, especially when you're building a new watch, delays happen in production, shipping, the whole 9 yards. I get it. But what's especially crucial, and I say this all the time, maintain communication with your backers. Maintain communication, because this company didn't have very good communication at all, and it pissed off a lot of their backers. So let's jump down and take a look and see what the specs were on this watch. Now, I mentioned this uses a Miyota 8215 movement. One thing I'll point out, the crown is not engraved like that at all. The crown doesn't look anything like that. So that's neither here nor there. But this does use a Miyota 8215 movement, which is a 21 joule movement that has approximately 30 hours of power reserve. And yes, guys, I'm just flying through this because quite honestly, I am not real happy with this one. So it doesn't really matter. So if we look at the dimensions on this watch, this is what I wanted to point out to you. The dimension for the width on this, excluding crown, 43 millimeters. So 43 millimeter diameter width. That's what people think, that's what people say. So if we take a look at this with a micrometer, and you can't see that, what do we see right there? 40 millimeters. So at the case, right there, diameter on this watch is 40 millimeters. A lot of people ticked off because this watch in the specs, right on the Kickstarter campaign, was supposed to be 43 millimeters. Now, to me, you know what? It's not the end of the day. I'll wear 40 millimeters. I'll wear 43 millimeter. It doesn't really matter. I know a lot of people are ticked off about that. The height on this watch, and I'm just going to double check it here, since how they already lied on one thing. Let's see if they lied on anything else. And as usual, the height, according to what they promised, was 10 millimeters. And what do we have right there? We have 14 millimeters for the height. Guys, I recognize you're looking at this upside down, and I apologize. Height on this, 14 millimeters. So this watch, from a dimension standpoint, is not anything that they promised it to be when they were trying to pitch this campaign. It's thicker, it's smaller in diameter than they were hoping for, or that they were saying it would be. So, you know, if you can't live up to the hype, if you can't live up to what you're talking about, what you're trying to sell, then at least be open and honest about it. At least communicate with your backers about it, something that they did not. It says it does have a anti-reflective sapphire crystal and case back. And they say these are pressure tested to 10 ATM. Personally, I don't buy that. If they have messed up some of this other stuff, I don't buy that they do anything that they say. But here's the kicker, guys. Here's what annoys me. All of that would be fine if the price was right, but here's what kind of annoys me. So if you look and take a look real quick at what I paid 179 pounds for this watch. Now, 179 pounds converted to US dollars, that's about $242 that I spent on this watch. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a sharp watch, and I will likely wear it. You know, at face value, just looking at it, it's a sharp looking watch. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. But the attention to detail, the false specs in the Kickstarter campaign, the delayed delivery, the lack of communication, this one actually marks this watch as a Kickstarter fail for me. So that was the Blenheim, however the hell you pronounce it. I'm not going to bother to learn, because quite honestly, I don't plan on doing business with this company ever again. Under-delivers, underperforms, not a watch to pick up for yourselves. And definitely do not pick it up at the price that I paid for it. Otherwise, you'll be annoyed just like I am. If you guys have not already, smash that subscribe button down in the right-hand corner of the screen. You'll be notified when I release my next watch review, which, incidentally, sneak peek, the next one will be by a company that knows how to run a Kickstarter campaign, unlike this one. Knows how to run a Kickstarter campaign and knows how to successfully run a micro-brand watch company. Anyway, guys, post up in the comments below. What do you think about this watch? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too much of a jerk on this watch? Should I be as annoyed as I am? You guys let me know up in the comments below. Like, subscribe, dislike, whatever. Just tell me what you guys think. Anyway, guys, have a great week. And don't forget, you can see what's on my wrist on a daily basis at Instagram/watchaddiction.us.